see where freedom is alive. You hear shots ring from the woods. Take on 40. Life is good. He's always shooting down in.
Yes, Hickok 45, your internet shooting companion, coming to you from the barren hills of Tennessee. Yes, Tennessee, the home of, guess what? The home of no spy balloons. Yes, I have cleared the sky. We are safe. Okay, there are no spy balloons. So it's a home of clear skies today. That's the most important thing, okay? Hasn't necessarily always been that way, has it, this past week or so? So anyway, you notice the Escort out here, and I've had a couple more questions about it, and I have been meaning to get it out and shoot some more and have it, so I can do it. Sunday video. Yeah, bait and switch. You saw that beautiful Smith Wesson in the thumbnail. Well, I had this out here too, take some shots with. And I also have something I've been fondling a little bit lately, the 4-inch Model 29. This is a -2, and it's been recessed and all that good stuff. That controversy never ends, does it? I don't know if a day goes by that somebody doesn't write me or leave a comment about asking about which is better, the old Smith & Wessons or the new ones. Or a lot of people say the new ones are better than the old ones. Or I have no interest in those old ones. The new ones are made better. It's the one I want, you know, or vice versa. I have no interest in a key lock and all of that and sleeve barrels and whatever they're doing now. I want a classic, you know. So people are all over the board on it, and well, I started to say, so am I, but I'm not really. I do prefer the older Smith & Wessons. I am, you know, it's like a lot of things. You know, the knife you carry, the car you drive, anything. You're willing to, maybe the old ones are a little bit better. Comes Fort Campbell. Good, keep those balloons out of here. Maybe the new ones are better, maybe the old ones are better, but there's not a lot of difference either way, right? They're still a revolver, basically the same thickness on the chambers, and you know, you got what you got. I don't know, the dimensions are much different and everything. I mean, what are your plans? What are you? Are you a 5,000 round a day shooter? Are you worried about your 357 Magnum falling apart after a week because you've burned up 100,000 rounds or something through it? Well, if that's your plan and the rate at which you shoot, then yeah, you need to be looking for the best, quote, best, whatever that is, one, right? But so revolvers are revolvers. That's the other thing too. It's not quite so much like putting a scope on a flintlock, or worrying about or making a flintlock out of stainless steel so it'll last better, or putting a polymer stock on a flintlock, an old flintlock, to make it work better and be more reliable in bad weather. I mean, it's not exactly like that. You know what I'm saying? You know, I mean, hey, look, you got a flintlock. A flintlock is what it is. You're taking away from the history of it. You're taking away from it by trying to turn it into something different, modernize it or whatever. And in some ways, if you're worried about just like capacity, if capacity is a big problem to you and you're going to go to great lengths to get a revolver that'll hold one more round and carry one that's a lot bigger than you really wanted to, so that it'll hold one more round and all that kind of, maybe just get a, I always say Glock, but you know, just get a modern pistol. You know, you can get them in 10 millimeter, 9 millimeter, 45 ACP, 357 SIG, you know, whatever you want that will hold plenty of ammunition. These days there are how many brands that are utterly reliable and it'll hold up just fine till you get to 200,000 rounds that you're going to shoot, right? At least. So, so in some ways it's a little bit of a moot issue talking about revolvers and which ones are going to last longer and hold up better and all that kind of thing. Well, they're all probably going to outlast you, unless you just, man, you're going to drive hundreds of thousands of rounds through them, or 50,000 or whatever, like I have with my 29. I have put probably 80,000 rounds through it now. I've been saying 70,000 for 10 years, but, or 75, but, and yeah, I did. I had to, what was it, a rebound spring put in it. I replaced the ejector rod, got a little funky at one point. And then gunsmith Jeff Wally replaced the trigger pin. It actually broke, I think, around 60, 70,000 rounds, whatever it was, and replaced it. Okay, that's okay. That's just stuff I didn't have a problem with. I mean, when you fire a gun that much, 44 Magnum, kind of expected. I was not carrying it for self-defense and worried that one day, it might fail on me or something. And plus, other than the trigger pin breaking, I guess, those things sort of gradually come about. You start noticing it. That's one thing about a revolver, too. You might start noticing an issue with it. The cylinder's not closing as tightly, or you got to mess with it. The timing doesn't seem as smooth as it once was, or whatever it might be. The rounds are not ejecting as easily when I open it up. Those kinds of things, Whereas like with a semi-automatic, a cheap semi-automatic, or one that's not working, not tuned right, from the get-go, man, the first magazine, you might have malfunctions. It may not be reliable as a self-defense firearm right away, But anyway, I kind of got all over the place on that. But that discussion will be ongoing. And as I mentioned before, if you're new, you may not have heard me. You should have. Why have you not seen all the videos? Why are you not apologizing right now? I grew up with these kind of things. As I got into firearms, these were the Smith. I was just in love with big old double action revolvers in the early 70s, and I had a couple of different ones of this in nickel. The blue were just, gosh, they were like unicorns. I don't know, I always wanted the blue one. Now I got it, but I never did find one in the 70s or 80s, But I had 6.5 inch, I had 6 inch, I had the 8 3/8, of course, and the big model 27s, end frames I'm talking about. I never did own a 41 Magnum, and that's come up. A friend of mine bought one recently, 41 Mag. He hand loads and everything. I had nothing against 41 Magnum. I would have likely had one of those, but I was getting into hand loading and bullets and just all the stuff I needed, and I was loading 357 Magnum, and I was reloading 45 Colt, 45 ACP, and I didn't have a big operation, it was in my bedroom kind of deal in an apartment. I got going with that. I had just gotten out of college, and I wasn't drawn to 41 Magnum. I had nothing against it, and as the years went on, there never was quite the quantity, the variety, put it that way, quantity maybe of reloading components, maybe, or even ammo selection for a 41 Magnum. It was there. There were aficionados of that chamber, but then the older I got, the wiser I got, the smarter I got, the more knowledgeable I got. I began to realize, 41 Magnum is 41 caliber. 44 is actually 43, 429 even, barely 43 caliber sometimes. You're not talking about much difference. So I just stuck with 44. And I've enjoyed it all these years. This is pretty neat one. I am pleased to have a 4-inch in the blue, and so here I am. Appreciate everybody that helps us. I got ammo. You saw me shooting some federal ammo through there, and bought that shotgun from Bud's. We appreciate Bud's Gun Shop, but lots of guns to review. But this one I just bought from them, and again, told you about it when I brought it out one Sunday. Just wanted to try it some more. The one we had was a little funky. This one seems better, and I just didn't get that itch scratched fully on that $140, $138 shotgun, which this is. We did a couple of videos with that one, and it kind of left a bad taste in my mouth, and probably yours too. Like, oh, that's not even worth 140 probably, or maybe it is as a truck gun or something, you know, because it's awkward and everything. This one so far has been better, so that's why I got it, just to see if they're all funky like that, or at least two of them are kind of funky. And then a lot of y'all have written and told me that you've had one, shot it a lot, and it's done fine. But I don't know. I mean, I don't have any Escort. Who makes this? See, it's Hudson, right? Yeah, the Turkish guy. I mean, I have no connection with them. It's not like I'm trying to get one that works so I can make them look better. You know, hopefully by now y'all know that's not an issue. Never has been and never will be. We pass up revenue by, you know, staying away from gun companies and things that involve gun companies, like money and all that, but intentionally, and work on. I got something else I might show you. So anyway, let's shoot. We'll shoot the shotgun while I've got it warmed up a little bit more. Let me put some buckshot in it, okay? Now, it is nice today. This is the day of this week that's nice. And it's even nicer than the nice day last week. Yeah. So, man, I'll probably do all my yakking and shooting right here unless something comes up that I just want to tack on that I don't know right now, that you know right now. It's happened. It's a big deal. But this isn't a news program, is it? Not a news show. They talk about news items and some things going on as I yak and shoot. But so we got some birdshot here. This is number 7.5. Yeah, 7.5 stuff. I guess I won't blow down the target yet. Although I could. Well, I'll wait. Oh man. 12 gauge. Oh man, I didn't mean to get two with one shot. Don't want to shoot a bowling pin. I got birdshot in here. Alright, seems to be functioning okay. I did some work on the range over there. You know, I'm always griping, making lame excuses about the gong being against the board, and I really hit it. Y'all just didn't hear it. You're trying to cover up for my misses, right? It does look like that's what I'm doing sometimes. If I watch part of the video, I know it's hard to understand. You're just watching, because when I watch your video, it's like, well, dummy, it's obvious that you missed it. Yeah, it would have rung. We would have heard it. Didn't hear anything or whatever it was. Or you heard it hit the wood even. Well, again, sometimes I've just had so many experiences with powerful guns shooting fast bullets. You know, it's just boom, and you know, before the sound subsides, you know, it is already either hit or miss the gong and that kind of thing. And if the gong is against the board or any steel target, you're not getting a good ring out of it. You know, I've just had that happen. Usually it's smaller caliber. So anyway, and I'm just talking to be talking, I guess, too, as I'm shooting. But no, I'm never, as you know, I'm not trying to act like I hit something I didn't hit ever. Hope somebody puts me out of my misery if I start doing that. Well, speaking of that, you know what this is? This is 44 Special Day. It's a special day. I just got this out as a 44 Special. All I brought was special ammo. It's a 4-inch barrel, and I like it more as a 44 Special. Just like Clint Eastwood, Dirty Harry, 44 Special. Another controversy, right? Yeah, the only place I think in all of his Dirty Harry movies he talks about that is in Magnum Force down there in the underground range. And the way he says it, the line, everybody thinks they know what he's shooting from that line, but I don't. If he had written it down and used proper grammar, I would. Anybody know what I'm talking about? Why I said that? Because I think he said, doesn't he say, they ask him what he's shooting or loading. He said, I use a light special load for better control, something like that. You know, I use a light special load for more control, better control. I believe that's pretty much the exact way he says it, a light special load, or special light load. No, it's light special load, I think. Well, if he wrote it down, well, if he says it that way, well, it still should be capitalized. 44 Special is the name of the cartridge, right? So it'd be 44 Special, capital S, the name of the cartridge, I guess. But yes, you don't know whether he means 44 Special as in, well, this doesn't say, this says SPL, you know, but, you know, this is 44 Special, that's the cartridge. So we don't know necessarily for sure if he means 44 Special. You would think he would. He's not in a big reloading discussion. Or he could mean like me, and I've talked about this once before at least. I have a load I load that's a kind of a special load. Everybody's hand loads are special loads, you know, to whatever they like best. So, you know, any of your hand loads, you consider them special loads, right? So he could mean that. Now, it would be a lighter load, like he said. So it might be exactly like 44 Special. We don't know. He didn't talk about his load specifically. But I don't know. The fact that he says special, I got to think 44 Special, I guess. All right. 44 Special. All right. How about you, cowboy? You want some special attention? Let's give the gong some special attention if I can. I heard it. All right, nice. I can't weasel out of it today because I have wired it up. I put a new. I went out and did some shopping, gardening shopping. I bought some new shepherd's hook plant hangers, and I replaced it. I got it wired where it can't, you know, weave back and forth much at all. Same with the buffalo hanging over there. Hear that? I got a new shepherd's hook for that rascal. Boy, he was really jury rigged. You should have seen up close the way he was hanging, and 3 or 4 stakes trying to hold him together. Click. Yeah, and the red plate on the left. I did the same thing there. I had it in pretty good shape, but it was really jury rigged and wired, all kinds of crazy stuff. I put a new shepherd's hook there. I needed some of the shorter shepherd's hooks. For those of you who have a range, you're thinking about building one, or you got your grandpa has some land, you take some plates out there and stick shepherd's hooks in the ground, or got a place there where he'll let you leave a couple of them up, or anything like that. I've talked about this maybe in the past. I won't charge you for this information, but I really, well, I started to say a smart way to handle that. I don't know how, if I should say that or not, because I thought of it, so it's not too smart. But anyway, a practical way. The shepherd's hook, some of the targets are too heavy really for a shepherd's hook. They just bend it down, you know, especially the smaller ones. You want the thing lower to the ground, well, you end up with basically the shepherd's hooks are a couple of sizes. They're, you know, about this long, or they're taller, you know, they're like almost tall as I am, I guess, where the hook is, or they're about half that or something. So there's 2 sizes, but the shorter ones are also lighter gauge. So you stick them in the ground, they don't go about that far, but they get that little extra little foot. That's what you really need, or else they spin. It's a problem I have. Yeah. Well, in order to get them lower to the ground and make it maybe safer where you want it, you use that smaller, shorter one with a lighter gauge, but you want to hang like that buffalo. It's pretty heavy. Now, one of these smaller plates, 8-inch, 10-inch plates, usually is okay. Not always, depends on the thickness. So if you got like a cowboy or a heavier target you want to hang on it, it'll just bend over with you, you know, and it just doesn't work. You got to go to one of the tall, heavy ones and it's up higher than you want, and then it sometimes will bend over too if it's a heavy target. So all you have to do is drive a stake right in the ground, a fence post, even a small one in most cases, one of the, you know, they're a really lightweight metal fence post. Or I've got some of them, one behind the cowboy here, and that plate over on the left, you can't see too well, and the gong, and then that plate down there by the tree. I've got a full-size, regular, heavy-duty metal fence post I've driven in the ground. And then you put the shepherd's hook up, the back of it up to that, stick it in the ground, but you can just put it in the ground first. You want it, don't put the target on it. And then just run that post, that fence post down in the ground, just right against it, behind it, okay? And so you got that support, and then you just get some wire, just cheap wire, anything. Well, just good wire, it's easy to work with. And tie the shepherd's hook to that post, and then hang the target on. Now, is that brilliant or what? Okay, so that's what I do. And that's what I've been putting off. It wasn't a matter of just going over and sticking another shepherd's hook in the ground and hanging the target on it. I needed to go through that process. Now on the buffalo I fixed, it didn't take one of the big fence posts. I just got one of the small fence posts. They're very light, but it's enough, I think. So I promise I'm not going to charge you for that. So it's 163, and here we are. And again, a balloon-free sky. Oh, one thing I want to mention before I go too far is I will be at, usually where I will be is right here, right? But I will be at the Dixie Deer Classic in Raleigh, North Carolina, March the 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Be there 3 different days, and I'm not sure what time during those days, but it'll be on their schedule or something. If you just Google, maybe I'll put a link in the description of this video of the Dixie Deer Classic, and they've got some information there, I think, about me being there, but they've got, I don't know what all they have, but I'm going to do a meet and greet for whatever, an hour or something, or a question and answer, and a meet and greet for about an hour each day, something like that, and I'll let you know when that is when I find out. Maybe by next Sunday I'll know, and what the times are on that. So I've talked to them for about 3 or 4 different years, and they've invited me to come and everything, and this year I thought, well, I'll go. So I'll be there, okay? The Dixie Deer Classic. I'm not a deer hunter. There'll be a lot of deer hunters there, and gun companies, I guess, and everybody. I don't know who all will be there. A lot of you probably, okay? It's a pretty big event, I understand. So get your butt out there if you live anywhere in this part of the country. Raleigh, North Carolina. Yeah. Okay. What should I shoot? Can I shoot the 44 Special some more? Yeah, these are hollow points, lead hollow points I'm shooting. Okay. And seem like nice rounds. I've been shooting them for a long time. This firearm is a sweet one, and it's especially sweet when you're shooting 44 Special. All right. Let's put one on the red right here. How about that? Yeah, that was a little bit low, which often happens when you're up close. Oh, man. Okay, bowling pins. And 2-liter. All right. Why did I shoot the bowling pins first? Come on, I expect you to answer that. Because if I had shot the 2-liter first, now that one didn't explode too much, but if they explode at all, they'd knock the bowling pins off, and you lose 2 targets you could have shot, right? So it's a matter of what do you call it? What's the word for in an emergency room? Somebody's in charge of what is it when you're assessing people quickly and put them in order of seriousness. Triage, yeah, triage. Somebody's got to do the triage. So same with targets, yeah. which one needs to go first. I swear it feels like it's going to rain here. It's not supposed to till tomorrow. Again, this is the day, and one of the few days I knew it's going to be pretty good. Okay, so hopefully it'll stay good, and I won't keep you too long. But you know, I saw that people were selling sand where Tom Brady made his retirement announcement from the beach. Can you believe that? Putting it on eBay. So I'm going to get some dirt from right here that occurred to me, and I'm going to put it in a jar, and I'm going to put it on eBay so one of you all can buy it. Except it'd be different kind of dirt. Probably have grass in it. Right? All right, let's get this shotgun going. Yeah, and again, a reminder, yeah, we don't know what YouTube's doing, but we have everything on Rumble now and Gunstreamer. Okay, so we are not going anywhere. Everything is out there. Should I try it? Let's do a gong or a slug again. Let's put a couple on the gong. Okay. Yeah. Do a little gonging. So we're evaluating everything. We'll continue and look at other sites, and again, it depends largely on features that these sites have, and some don't have many. And just some things just can't manage 2,000 videos, even though you know the site seems okay, you know, and maybe even pretty popular or desirable in a lot of ways. All right, so I don't know if I really shot that many slugs with that other one, did I? Or even this one yet, but that's why I got it. Mess with it. It's a weird forend. Come on, man. That might have been me. I don't know. One of the things I don't like about it is, I mean, look at the hand guard, the grip and everything is fully forward. It looks like it's back, doesn't it? So let's eject the empty. And when you go fully forward, I put it on safe, but you know, it's just weird. It's like it's back. Blew the heck out of that. Got me a propane tank. Got me a Buffalo. So pretty good rifle. Yeah, I don't gain anything by the contour and the shape of that thing. I would like this gun better if it's just a standard corncob forend, you know, because it's like it's made to make it easier to bring back, you know, because it swells back here. But that's just one of the directions you move it in. You got to go both ways with it. So I don't know what you gain by that. It's not horrible, but you know, it could be better. Put some sandpaper tape on that, some Talon grip tape on it or something. I don't know. So, I don't know. Can't complain, I guess. Too much, $138, right? I'll tell you something you all did. It's your all's fault. On that knife video, the most recent knife video, and we've done several knife videos over the years. My knives, favorite hiking knives, things like that. My pocket knife, you know that. My carry knife is, in fact, I had it out a second ago, didn't open that ammo or something, you know, the Delica, Spyderco, keep handy, and we did the Bowie knife video, and then recently the trail knife, you know, video, because I've got so many things I use out. Well, there have been so many interesting comments and messages to me about those knives and knives that you all have recommended to me, that I have kind of looked at. So I said, okay, what's that, you know, and I just Google it real quick and click on it and see what, yeah, there's a good looking knife, you know, whatever. Or my favorite woods knife is this, or my favorite hacking knife, or or whatever, a machete is this, or man, you need to look at this machete, or one of these, or a parang, or whatever it might be, you know. And I have looked around, and as I'm doing that, I end up getting videos recommended. You know how that is. Yeah, good old Google. Anything you're looking into, well, here come all these YouTube videos, and which I can't complain. That's how a lot of people have found us over the 15 years, right? Yeah, I found some interesting people doing knife reviews. People that you all probably really familiar with. I meant to look up some of their names. I can't remember. And just oh yeah, there's a guy that pops up all the time. What's his name? Really Big Monkey 1. What a username. Really Big Monkey 1. I've seen some of his videos on the big knives, the field knives and different things, and there's somebody else, Three Rivers something. Three River Knife, I don't know, but there's several that popped up, and I kind of get sucked into looking at their videos on these knives and hatchets or the machetes. I think, wow, there's some I've never seen before, you know. And I've actually bought a couple, and I really like. In fact, I brought one out here. I have decided that the folks who are always praising these, I guess parang, the way you pronounce it. It's hard to get out of. You know, this is what Condor I got picked up this week. Yeah, and these things are they are the answer. They're really nice. I see why people like them so much for just chopping and hacking. They're a little heavier than some average machetes, but they kind of really nice. So anyway, I've had this out with me today here and messing around working, but I appreciate it. You know, for all the criticism that we throw at social media and YouTube and Google and everything, it is an amazing place. You know, the whole world is just right there in your phone. You know, it's just there. I've learned so much, even in the last 3, 4, 5, 10 years, whatever, just from, again, Google it, there it is. There's interesting videos that people like you have done, or the people I mentioned, or whoever, and on any topic, and in so many ways, just like most things, there's a negative side and there's a positive side to everything. There's a gigantic positive side to the internet. I have learned so much. I'm sure you have too, and there's information so much right at your fingertips, you know. But then you got the evil side of the internet, the social media, and all that. But I mean, it's been great. I've discovered a lot of cool knives and things. I'll have to, about a year from now, I'll have to do an update on all the knife videos. But I appreciate it. I forgot his name now. The monkey something guy. He is fun to listen to. I mean, talk about a southern accent. Wow. I sent one of his videos to a friend of mine who's also an outdoors guy, knives, guns, and everything. Here's a guy you might enjoy. A lot of good stuff on knives and knife sharpening and all that. Machetes and everything. I said, you got to kind of get used to his Brooklyn, New York accent, you know. I said, yeah, right. So, really, yeah, sharp guy. Appreciate your work. Got a pretty big channel, you know. It's just a great world. There's so many people that have actually, self included, have turned a hobby, their interest into kind of a career, you know, in a lot of ways. If this is considered a career, I don't know. I've had so many careers, I don't know what to call it. It's supposed to be retirement, but it seems like there's always something else to do. That's okay, I can't complain. All right, especially when I get to stand here and shoot 44 special out of a really nice Smith Wesson, vintage Smith Wesson, and kill steel cowboys. Double action or single action. I still have people, they say, why do you shoot a double action and single action? You're wasting it. Well, again, you guys, gals that shoot a lot, you know, That when you have a double action, it doesn't mean you can shoot everything double action. You know, you can shoot either way you want. That's one of the advantages of a double action. You know, you can take a really precise shot with a very nice, light trigger. You know, yeah, or you can double action it. You know, now when you get into defensive shooting, it's a little different, but you generally want to use double action. You know, we'll go into that today. It's another video, right? So. Yeah, I tell you, it is funny. The knife rabbit hole I've been going down and discovered some interesting stuff. Yeah, I really have. I better give some advice before I get out of here. Well, I was going to give you young people, again, just a reminder about being tolerant and what I mean, I don't mean be tolerant in a. We have to be careful. You know, a lot of people pride themselves on being tolerant of other folks. At the same time, just knowing they're better than those people. But I'll be tolerant of you, right? Even though you're kind of a lesser human being than I am. Yeah, that's not really the proper attitude, is it? For being I mean, tolerant is really almost the opposite. You want to try to remind yourself, as smart as you might be, you know, there might be some people, valedictorians you're watching or former and all that, and just some really sharp people. It doesn't mean you or I, certainly me, are any better than anybody else at all, or that even our opinions are necessarily more valid. They might be based on more information. It is hard not to feel like our opinion, if we really study something, we have a lot of information, we've read a lot about it, both sides, all sides. It is hard to say that my opinion is no better than anybody else's, because I probably do think my opinion is a little more valid if I've really studied the issue, I've lived the issue. Yeah, so I guess that's not sincere. I mean, some people's opinions probably are more, I don't know, accurate or more valid in some ways, right? But in the great scheme of things, not necessarily. You know, everybody has their own way of looking at things, and you know, everybody gets their chance to, you know, have their voice, and you know, in 100 years, it's not going to matter. You know, nobody's going to care what you thought, probably, or I thought, or anything. But just really genuinely, considering what other people think about things and not giving them a hard time for everything just because it doesn't agree with you or me. And of course, that could be on anything: religion, favorite firearms, favorite cars, you know, internet site, whatever it might be, favorite knife, you know, favorite shotgun. You know, everybody's got their own opinion, and whatever they like the most, they like it. And you know, have you ever noticed something? It's really rare that you actually change somebody's opinion, right? Mostly all you do is alienate them or alienate yourself from them by trying to change their opinion, right? So anyway, just a little lesson in tolerance that we always need to remind ourselves of. You know, there's people out there that are just way different from us. I think back to when I was a kid looking at National Geographic at, you know, people, tribes or whatever in Africa, people are walking around naked, you know, and or whatever, and they think, wow, people actually live like that, you know. And another example I've used, you know, there have been tribes of cannibals on this planet, you know, and I don't guess there's any right now. Might be some in Tennessee, I don't know, Kentucky probably, but. But you know, that's the thing. Whatever you're talking about, a group of people, a society, you know, a country, a village. There are people with far different perspectives, way different than yours and mine, and they are just as convinced that whatever they do or believe is just as valid as what you or I do or believe. You know, can you imagine? You think people that were actually cannibals thought there was anything wrong with that? Of course not. No. So just something to remind. It's extreme, right? Okay. the extreme example. I swear it feels like it's going to rain. It better not rain on me. Okay, what should I shoot? All right, so I'm pleased that this thing. So far I've had it out 3 or 4 times shooting it, and two times at least in Sunday videos. I'm gonna shoot it again. It's gonna do that. Well, you paint that front sight. Now, the big test is with a shotgun that's cheap, maybe any firearm that's cheap. It really is more important probably to for somebody. I'm not going to do it, but 1,000 round test, or one of those kinds of tests. If they fall apart after 300 or 500 or 800 rounds, maybe we wouldn't be surprised. I don't know, and it'd be good to know. Let me get that hog is not being killed. Wow, slug is perfect. I think I went low probably. I'm not going to say, oh, it was so loud. I hit the gong, but I didn't hear it. No, in fact, I don't want to quit on a miss on the gong. I'm pretty sure I just held low. Let's see if that was what it was. Yeah, I did. The sight was right on the bottom of it when I pulled that trigger, and I had noticed I don't like shooting it without the extender. Okay, it's not so much the recoil; it's just need that extra length. Yeah, feel a lot better to me. It really would. All right, anything else I need to yak about? Not really. Mentioned the Dixie Deer Classic in Raleigh, and like I said, we've got everything on Rumble, and every new thing is posted over there. Will be as well, and Gunstreamer, and we're looking at others, but I don't know. YouTube might be getting the common sense back. In terms of ridiculous restrictions, but some of our videos are demonetized, some of them are monetized, and lots of times, most of the time, almost all the time, there's not any logic to it that I can tell, but so it's hard to trust, 100% anything that you just don't understand, quite understand, right? And so we really appreciate y'all, your support, and if it does come to some kind of apocalyptic situation on social media, I hope you all will find us, and you know where we are. And as I've said before, people that want to continue seeing certain video makers like us or anybody else, you'll find us. You'll find them, because it's not like there's 39 different places where they can go. So I'm pretty confident most of you, especially watch on Sunday, will find us if necessary. And speaking of social media, my Instagram is not working, and I don't know what that is. It's been a week, I guess. I don't know what that's about. I had my wife look it up and go, and she was able to see it and everything, but I don't know. It's what do I get? Couldn't refresh feed. That's the message I keep getting, and it just kind of churns. It's been doing that a week. I don't think I can even log out. I ain't sure where to log out. I don't know if I can even log out and come back in, if I even remember the password. I don't know. But anyway, Instagram's not working. You'll see I don't post a lot on there, but occasionally I was going to post something else the other day. I couldn't do it. So you never know. Social media technology is a strange thing. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I go back to the days of, oh my gosh, the early PCs. That's when I was so heavily involved in it. In fact, the first PCs, computers, microcomputers, and the Apple, and then the first IBM PC and everything. I was with a publisher. We were developing software for it, and I was traveling around the country demonstrating that stuff. And you get somewhere and the computers wouldn't work, and or the PCs especially, you just have to reboot them. That would usually fix it. Just Control-Alt-Delete. Y'all that have been in the computer world a while, you know what I'm talking about. That was the most common fix, Control-Alt-Delete, which is reboot. And some of you are saying, what's reboot mean, right? All right, let's reboot this Model 29. Ooh. I know what this do. Let's reboot that cowboy. How's that for a pun? Knock his shoes off. Make him reboot himself, right? Is that a pretty sight or what? 44 Magnum, well, special in this case. And gets a little dirty, but cleans up like a new one. Yep, sure does. Again, I recommend if you have a hard kicking chambering, firearm, and you can shoot 38 special or 44 special. It's hard to find this stuff if you don't hand load it, but if you can get some, it's just so much sweeter and fun to shoot. A lot of people swear 44 special is one of the most accurate rounds out there. They just rave about the accuracy of the 44 special. I've always thought that, I think most of that is the fact that it's just so sweet to shoot. Usually it's in a heavier handgun, big enough handgun, and it's light recoiling, and you just tend to shoot things better. You could probably argue 38 special is more accurate than 357 Magnum, at least in your experience watching people shoot, or you shoot, or me shoot. But a lot of it is you just know there's almost no recoil. It's like you're picking up a 22 long rifle. You just hold it right on. Your recoil is not even on your mind. And I think that's a lot of the reason, because I'm not sure there's any inherent reason for 44 special to shoot any better out of this gun, or even one that's just chambered for 44 special, than 44 Magnum. I don't know. Of course, you have a lot of variables, the bore size, the bullet you're shooting, the size of that bullet, you get into a thousandth of an inch, all that can make a difference. But just in general, I'm not sure there's any real reason for that. So, and I've always gotten good accuracy out of a 44 Magnum shooting 44 special, even though it's a little bit shorter. You just got a little bit further to get, through the cylinder chamber. It's not that big a deal, I don't think. At least standing and shooting, same old deal. What I've preached about accuracy all these years. See our video called Accuracy. Standing and shooting, about anything you're going to stand here and shoot is more accurate than you can be, than you have the ability to be stable enough to discern any difference, unless you're an Olympic shooter. Generally speaking, maybe I'd say for 99.9% of us, right? And I'm including me in that for certain, okay? So, sweet. Nothing like a big old end frame, wide hammer, wide target, Smith Wesson, pin barrel, recessed chambers. I know I'm a snob, but the new ones are nice guns too. I don't take anything away from them either. I just, I love the old classics. I growed up with them, like I said. This was what a Smith & Wesson should be. It was, it's like when you're, whatever music was popular when you were 15, 16, 14 is just always going to be special to you, right? Or whatever car maybe your older brother had that was so cool, or whatever it was that you were first introduced to as a teenager. And it's kind of same as my 20s. My first guns and were these, just like this. Pin and recessed and the same, no key lock and all that. So you have to excuse that. I heard a thing just this morning, I think, talking about the Beatles. It was 59 years ago, I think, that they came to the United States, flew into New York, and performed on Ed Sullivan. And I remember the day. I watched them. I remember that, all the hoopla. I wasn't as familiar with them at that time. My cousin was. She, as all the girls at the time, were infatuated with them. And I wasn't that familiar until, I learned from her, and then we saw them on Ed Sullivan and everything. But then, of course, I liked them a lot, too. And again, I was 14, 15, and so the whole world was the Beatles. Out of the top 10 songs on the chart, they would have 7 of them. And then, of course, they were good songs. and a great harmony, and it was just, and you know, we were all becoming of age at that time, and in my age group, and so, you know, to me, there's something intangible, something you can't really fully explain. You know, the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, you know, those groups, even Led Zeppelin a little bit later. They're just there's just nothing that comes close, because that was the music when I was 15, 14, 20, 18. You know, that was what dominated at that perfect time, right? You know, on top of that, it was great music anyway. It still is. That's why it's played all the time. As I've said before, who knew that, you're just expecting, okay, when I'm 30, there'll be another band like the Beatles as big or bigger, and the Stones and everybody else. And then when I'm 40, there'll be other bands, and everybody will forget about the Beatles and the Rolling Stones and Led Zeppelin. But so who knew that that's not what really happened, you know, that all that music, pop, rock, whatever, started in mid-60s, and that 10 years or whatever of music would be, and I know we can argue about all the bands and everything coming after and before, but who knew that those 10 years of music, the English invasion and all that, would be the biggest renaissance in music of all time, perhaps, you know, of that type of music. And it's what you hear on the radio now, and there are stations dedicated to it and all that. So, but anyway, whatever you start out with, it's special. Now, that's what I was starting to talk about. Sort of branched out there a little bit, didn't I? So to me, these were cool. And again, I'm sorry Clint didn't make it more clear in Magnum Force what he meant when he said he shoots a light special load. But I've also got another news flash for you. Does it really matter? I don't think he was shooting in that movie 44 Special or 44 Magnum, was he? I think he was shooting blanks. So it really doesn't matter. He wasn't shooting either one. And there's some reports that some of the guns and some of the scenes were 41 Magnum and then just different things, all that. But I know some of them were 44s because we still got them, you know, and they're in museums. I've seen them. But anyway, newsflash, it's fiction. So he wasn't shooting this cartridge or 44 Magnum. He was shooting something, whatever it looked like, probably back then they didn't use CGI in the 70s, so I don't think so. It was, if you ever seen some of those old blanks, they look like the brass just closes up around it and there's a wad in there or whatever in the powder. And so that's what he was shooting, blanks. So anytime you get into an argument or you hear your friends arguing about what Clint was actually shooting in those movies, bet them some money that you actually know what he was shooting. While they're arguing Special or Magnum, what the load was, you just, get you a free dinner. So look, I expect a free steak dinner if I can tell you what he was actually shooting beyond any shadow of a doubt. And I would say you'd be correct if you said blanks. Yeah, the good old days before CGI, right? Too bad the movie Rust didn't have some CGI going on, right? So, well, they may have, the rehearsals where the problem came up, I guess. So I'm gonna let you go, and appreciate y'all watching and the support. Still posting 3-4 videos every week. Do a short now and then, and might do one today. I don't know. I have a couple ideas just for fun, and we'll see you next week. Hopefully we'll have some good weather next week. We're getting we're up the 12th, so we get into March, and we still have a lot of bad weather, but we're on the way out. We can see the light at the end of the tunnel, right? And so I'm sorry if I went too long today. I apologize. Please forgive me. Life is good.